This Jack Dorsey.
I was wondering where you were going with that one for a second.
Somewhere you didn't expect.
When things are wrong, I'll be by your side. Even when you want to cry.
Yay!
Yay!
It's actually interesting. I think you should have a better idea of how the sound is coming out. Is it like sounding all right in yours? Because
Sounds fine to me.
everything is going through the soundboard to you. Welcome to the Naked Apple, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We are doing a remote session today because our lovely friend Trevor here decided to be the most positive person we know.
Well, I mean,
Well,
don't
second
know
most
that
positive
yet.
person that we know.
we don't know that yet.
His wife is technically the most positive person.
Yeah, my wife is the most positive person. So I'm in my sterile environment here. And we're doing this episode via Zoom.
Let's zoom!
It only took us an hour to find that.
Yeah, it's because we got distracted.
Got so distracted.
Speaking of which, if you ever get the opportunity to watch a show called Children's Hospital Ward 8.
No. It's Children's Hospital.
Children's
The
Hospital.
episode is Ward 8.
Episode was Ward 8 that we got.
Yes.
That we were watching. It's like season 3 for that one. But if you ever get the chance to watch Children's Hospital, it's quite hilarious.
There's a clown in an operating room with a tiny bow and arrow trying to make a patient on the table laugh. That's how an hour of distraction started.
There was a rabbit hole. We tripped.
We fell hard.
Yes.
So hopefully that's our sidetracks done for the evening.
Hopefully.
And we'll stay on topic. But we
At
won't.
least it put us in a good mood.
It did.
We're
We're
in
going
a
to try
better
to soil that as much as we can.
in a
for the
better
next
mood
40
now than
minutes to an hour.
we were before. But I mean, it's not hard to be after after that.
That clown's hilarious. Ron Swanson is in that show, if that means anything to anyone.
It's great.
So I don't even know what it originally aired on, but
I don't understand how the medical association can accept laughing as a form of his medicine. They don't. Well, it feels like they do. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Well,
Speaking of hospitals and doctors, we need to get our vitamin B for the day.
vitamin B. Here we go.
Yeah.
This one.
That's how we always start off our
Yeah, that's
our
true.
things.
That's true. Oh, and right here, very top best article for doctors and medicine. After fending off pandemic challenger, Planned Parenthood retains title for most Americans killed in 2020. Congratulations,
It's a hard fought
Planned
battle.
Parenthood.
Hard fought.
They were
Hard
worried
fought.
there for a minute that
Yeah,
the
they were
pandemic
slipping.
might slip in there and steal
They
that
were
win from
slipping.
them, but they came out with the W in the end.
They found some extra numbers to add to their tally there at the last minute.
Was that a voter fraud joke?
They-
Voter fraud is not a joke. It's very serious.
except it doesn't exist, so
Speaking of voter fraud not existing, the next article ties right into that. Sidney Powell promises to very soon show us a real UFO. I am excited
for that.
for that.
She got me hook, line, and
That's-
sinker for that one.
Down for
You
it.
know, whatever. You got millions of ballots you can prove were invalid, whatever. Show me that UFO.
And in other news, to celebrate Thanksgiving, Hunter Biden arrives at White House dressed as turkey in hopes of being pardoned by Trump. He tried to pull a fast one.
Almost got away with it.
Almost got away with it.
Unfortunately, this
close.
was the year that Trump was just tired of the tradition and took out the axe. I cannot tell you how much I would have loved to see Trump do something like that, where you just say, you know what, just screw all this, screw all of it, just give me that turkey. Just
this is the really, really bad article. This one actually strikes a chord and hurts me personally. I have never been angry as angry at something that I agree so much with.
I've never been so offended by something I 100% agree with.
Yes, that one. Exactly. Sad. Libertarian wants to have big Thanksgiving to defy government, but no one wants to hang out with him.
Yeah.
It's little tears.
little libertarian tears.
Libertarian tears I got going on here. So, and that's been the Babylon Bee for today.
That's your vitamin B.
Your vitamin B.
Enjoy
your vitamin B. B.
All right, and less serious news, the New York Times
If I could
gave us a great headline.
there. And we have it highlighted for your
For your
enjoyment.
convenience. A new study questions whether masks protect wearers. You need to wear them anyway. What? And
Mr. Matt just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
yes. Yeah. Pretty much. So yeah, translation of that is study says masks don't work, but you need to wear it anyway. And quite literally, the study, the link is in the Times. Researchers in Denmark reported on Wednesday that surgical masks did not protect the wearers against infection with the coronavirus in a large randomized clinical trial. And this is actually a scientific study. They had a control group of people that were not wearing masks at all. And then they had a group of people that were wearing masks. It was somewhere around 3,000 people in the study. And they were told to just go live your life. Whatever you do, just do it with or without the mask, whichever group you're in. At the end of it, they did, at the end of the study, they swabbed people's noses and whatever else to test for the coronavirus. And then they also did antibody tests to see if anyone caught it during the study. At the end of the study, there was no statistical difference between the two. So you can wear a mask and be just as likely to catch it as one who is not wearing the mask. The New York Times points out that critics were quick to note the study's limitations, among them that the design depended heavily on participants reporting their own test results and behavior at a time when both mask wearing and infection were rare in Denmark. Because contact tracing now doesn't depend heavily on participants reporting their own behavior.
I have a confession to make. I was asked to fill out a thing for contact tracing once. Only once.
Once?
I went to a gun show and they have a little thing, fill out for contact tracing, must fill out to enter, whatever.
Right.
So I put in all the information for my work. Which is a landline number. Yeah.
All right.
So they
they're
don't
gonna
actually know where I live or where my phone is.
So they're going to call your work. Neat.
Or they will get an automatic answering machine that won't actually direct them anywhere.
My favorite one, though.
Better
My
than
favorite one
me.
though in this is this little section right here. I can draw on that. The study published in the Annals
Anals?
Annals
Ain't-
of Internal Medicine
I
did
could
not
make-
contradict.
I can make a really bad joke here,
I know. That's why I'm trying to move on.
but whatever.
did not contradict growing evidence that masks can prevent transmission of the virus from wearer to others, but the conclusion is at odds with the view that masks also protect the wearers, a position endorsed just last week by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It's the darndest thing that they said that because there is going.
Go away.
For those that only listen on podcast, and for those that try to watch on YouTube but can't because I'm terrible at uploading the videos, we can doodle on the screen.
We can.
Zoom.
We can doodle on the screen. It is wonderful.
But it is interesting that they say that because there's another study that was done, but then they decided to not publish the study because, the headline, researchers withdraw study showing efficacy of mask mandates after increased virus cases in areas observed.
Huh.
So yeah.
So what?
It's published in late October. Researchers of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT.
What? Mitt! Triggered!
They said the authors have withdrawn this manuscript because there are increased rates of SARS-CoV-2, whatever, COVID-19, coronavirus, China flu, in the areas that we originally analyzed in the study.
Because the people in those areas weren't wearing masks.
No, because people in those areas were under mask mandates.
Yeah, so they weren't wearing their masks in public.
Right. Except they were. Decrease in hospitalizations for COVID-19 after mask mandates in 1,083 U.S. counties. Now reads new analysts
In how many counties?
in 1,083. What did I say? 10,083?
No.
Did I Joe Biden that?
That just sounded. It sounds like a lot of counties.
1,083 U.S. counties. It's at least two.
I mean, that's what the state of Georgia plus one.
Ish. Who's counting? New analysis in the context of the third surge in the United States are therefore needed and will be undertaken directly in conjunction with the creators of the publicly available database on cases, hospitalizations, testing rates, etc. Basically, they're saying, we did this study here because they have mask mandates in these areas, and all of these mask mandate areas are seeing increased cases. So our study isn't right.
Isn't accurate. It's not
accurate.
Not an accurate.
So we're not supposed to believe the study that says no difference, and we can't believe the study that says they work. So, which hold on, there's a glitch in the matrix here. If you want some number crunching stuff, let's see if I can find it real quick.
Ooh,
Numbers.
I learned how to count once.
Once, twice, 3 times.
A lady. Wait, is that how I'm going with that?
I mean, it could have been.
Stop, don't come back.
What do you think? That's what they do. They can make up anything.
That's what they do. They can make up anything.
That's how I feel about these studies. You know,
They might be trying to screw me.
Well, of course they're trying to screw you.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
good. I was running out of noises on the
Yeah, you
soundboard.
were running out of noises. I know. I had to scroll back a few days in our text messages.
Oh, lovely. That's a good resource. We share a lot
it
of
is.
things that we don't ever actually end up talking about because there's just
I
so
know.
much.
There's just so much, and it changes so fast.
There was one
Especially-
that I was going to share with you this morning that was really interesting about Sweden, but I don't
especially
remember what it
election related stuff.
was. Yeah.
But anyways, I was curious because the survival rate now, according to the CDC, is about 99.9% survival rate for coronavirus. This is based off of their estimate that a lot more people have been infected than they actually have numbers for. So that's where they get that number. But you can't believe that number because that's just an estimate. Whatever. It's from the CDC, which you also tell me.
So are all of
says
the
I need-
estimates that they keep throwing out about how many people will die. So
Yeah, so is the initial estimate of 2.2 million people dying.
what are
I think we
we?
blew that one out of the water.
11%?
Of that, yeah,
That
yeah. I'll take it.
I think an 89% reduction is a valiant thing. Myself.
It's the savings.
Savings.
Tell me, would you rather have 11% off or 89% off?
Right? Right? I mean, that's saying that we've done a terrible job is like saying that you wanted to pay full price for a Black Friday thing. You know what? I don't want that. That's a terrible deal
It's
because
terrible. It's a
it's
dumb
only
idea.
50%.
They might be trying to screw me.
Well, of course
Yes.
they're trying to screw you.
Yes, 100%. So
110%.
I
We
had
are
some-
extra here.
I did some number crunching because from what I'm seeing, it's mostly the doctors that are the hardest to persuade on how undangerous this is. Those in the medical field, I should say.
Really?
And it's not even that.
interesting.
It's
I know
it's
like
more
3
so-
people in the medical field, and all of them think this is bullshit.
that's what I'm trying to clarify is there's certain hospitals where the staff and all that are, this is the worst thing ever. But then you go to another hospital and the staff and everything, they barely even have a sign up about coronavirus at the hospital. But anyways, I started thinking of doing an apples to apples comparison. Hey, naked apple.
Hey!
Of some
Not an
numbers.
apples to oranges comparison.
No, we're getting as apple to apple as we can get.
How about
so?
kiwis to watermelons?
I mean, that might be close. We're getting somewhere.
I don't know where it is because I totally
They both have green.
derailed us, but yeah, let's go. We're going somewhere.
So this was just a quick search I did, and if you want to go back and check my numbers, whatever. But roughly about 84% of adults 18 and over see a doctor at least once each year. Medical malpractice and misdiagnosis for medication results in about 257,000 deaths annually. That's roughly a mortality rate of 0.121%. Now take the U.S. as a whole Now take the U.S. whole population because everyone can be exposed to coronavirus, whereas not everyone necessarily goes to a doctor. And the death rate is 0.078%. But someone might say that's including the entire population, not just the adult population. One, it's not easy to get a breakdown of cases by age because they usually lump 15 to 20-year-olds in one group, not 18 and up. Things like that. But still, that only omits about 150 some odd deaths. So for coronavirus. And presumably an equatable portion of positive tests. If we're to believe everything they're saying about this many tests, this many deaths, blah, 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 blah. So, But like I said, it's extremely hard to break that down by age of positive tests and positive deaths.
And that's also not taking in consideration the malpractice in the counting.
Yes.
Because, personal story, here in Utah.
In Utah.
I have a coworker, friend, who had a family member pass, who caught COVID, tested negative for COVID, and then passed away from something else.
Right.
And the family was told that he was getting reported as a COVID death so that the hospital could collect more money.
Oh.
So one of
But
those
that never
deaths
happens.
is for sure
Malpractice.
not a COVID death. It is something else that has
Yeah.
been counted as a COVID death.
So,
And that's not the only story that I've heard from personal friends
they're
and
all over the
people
place.
that has happened to.
All over the place.
All over the place.
So again, 257,000 deaths from medical malpractice, misdiagnosis, or medication, or medical malpractice and misdiagnosis for medication result in 257,000 deaths ish annually. And coronavirus deaths currently are 230,000, something like that, 240,000.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And we're running out of year to get there. But also to all this,
259,000.
oh, they just barely passed it. But someone might also say to all this, younger people aren't as affected, so the number will be different for actual adults. Exactly. Younger people are fine, so stop advocating for shutting things down because you don't know how to keep grandma safe from getting sick when you are sick. Pretty much. That's, yeah. So the point of all that
Sounds
is for Thanksgiving, if we get this posted before Thanksgiving, or even Christmas, we'll go with Christmas because it'll for sure be up before Christmas.
Hopefully. Well, I mean, you do have the next however many days off, so.
Oh yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of videos posted in the next week or so. That'll be all caught up.
Yay!
But the point of all that is you and your family, including poor, frail grandma, are more likely to die going to see the doctor to see if you have COVID or anything else than you are going to grandma's house to stuff your gullet with an overcooked butterball turkey. In fact, you're probably more likely to contract some sort of heart disease or whatever from eating that turkey than anything COVID related. But I haven't looked up those numbers.
My turkey is definitely a hard risk.
There's no other way to eat a turkey.
I use a straight tub of butter to
Good.
pack on it when I smoke it perfectly.
The only way to eat a turkey is smoked. Yeah, smoked and or fried are the only ways to eat a turkey. No other way
Cajun's
works.
not bad.
The only turkeys I've had from Cajuns were smoked and or fried. Spicy, but smoked and or fried.
My dad used to do one in a bag that was pretty good.
Big. Put it in a bag.
Bag cooking.
Bag.
It was good. Good stuff. I love turkey.
Good.
Thanksgiving's one of
Nice.
my favorite holidays.
Any excuse to eat a lot
Which
of food
is
and not feel bad about it
obvious
is a good excuse.
when you look at me in person.
We're both a couple of in-shape guys.
Round is a shape.
Round is 100% a shape.
Trevor is round. I'm an amoeba.
Just kind of there. Yes.
Yeah, just throw that out there. Let you know what's up.
Let you know what's up. So last week, the big wigs of the socials were at the Senate for some hearings. Well, virtually.
Some smearings? Yes.
Yes. And it didn't really go well for him, especially
Jack Dorsey?
especially Bird Nest Face Jack Dorsey.
Well, you see, his beard is actually sponsored on Animal Planet. It is its own protected habitat.
Some endangered species live in that thing. And
Yeah,
they're feeding off all this crap that just spills out of his mouth.
This area right about here is a danger zone for mites, and
They flee to the north part there.
feed
off that crap.
They love coming this way in the winter to get closer to the roots, so that they can feed more. And,
Right, there's more nutrients there.
and there's a little bit
nutrient-rich.
more. Yes, there's
Right
more
there.
nutrients, more warmth. It's a fantastic winter home.
Yeah, less shaky too when he talks.
Yes, yeah.
Doesn't shake as around as
And also, there's more food that
much.
gets dropped in that general vicinity.
A little more
It's-
dribble.
You know, the flavor saver is much more savory
So
when
this
you go to its source.
this Jack Dorsey.
I was wondering where you were going with that one for a second.
Somewhere you didn't expect.
Dorsey. Oh,
Um,
okay then.
he
Wait, wasn't he the guy in Pride and Prejudice?
I don't. Oh, Mr. Dorsey.
Oh, Darcy. My bad.
Darcy. Yeah.
Whatever.
Darcy.
Darcy. They're
He
both
didn't
twins.
look like that. He didn't look like that. That much I know.
All right.
So Dorsey said in there, somewhere in the hearing. So we were called here today because of an enforcement decision we made against the New York Post based on a policy we created in 2018 to prevent Twitter from being used to spread hacked materials, which they've been called out on for publishing Donald Trump's tax returns via the New York Times and not blocking that at all, even though that is illegal to do so. This resulted in us blocking people from sharing a New York Post article publicly or privately, Dorsey said. We made a quick interpretation using no other evidence that the materials in the article were obtained through hacking, and according to our policy, we blocked them from being spread. Upon further consideration, we admitted this action was wrong and corrected it within 24 hours.
Didn't they not correct it within
Well,
24 hours, though?
They did. They corrected it by saying New York Post can delete that account and delete that post and repost it, and then it'll be fine. But for whatever reason, they don't have the technology to just unblock that post.
Huh.
And the reason why that becomes...
the technology. Do they not have the technology, or were they trying to make them reset the algorithm on the post so that it didn't trend again?
Exactly. So they have the technology to turn it off, but they have yet to figure out how to flip that back to on. It's stuck there on off, so you just have to rip that whole outlet out of the wall, put a new one in with it already on.
Most switches have an off and on position. This switch
Yes.
only has an off position.
Well, it has on and off. Its default is on, but as soon as it goes to off, it's done. You have to replace the whole switch.
So it's a one-way street.
It's one-way street. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Mike said, that's essentially it. The New York Post
What do
didn't
you
want
think?
to...
That's what they do. They can make up anything.
Exactly. New York Post didn't want to do that because that would mess with the algorithm and it wouldn't get the spreading that it was supposed to get. So that's why they fought to have it unblocked, and I think they finally did get it unblocked. I think.
Maybe.
But isn't that nice that after everyone's gone and cast their votes, Twitter comes out and says, that was a mistake. We should have let everyone know about the Hunter Biden thing.
Much like several of the Democratic senators in House seats saying, you know, Joe Biden really needs to address these Hunter issues after he had already won the projection for the news.
Right. Yeah. It's real convenient timing.
Real convenient. Let's ignore this for months on end so that we can use it at an opportune moment.
What was it? 12th Amendment? 25th Amendment? Which one was it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, which one was that?
With Pelosi. He's unfit for office because of his declining health. He doesn't have declining health. Okay, well, he's corrupt. One or the other is going to happen first.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the 25th. 25th Amendment is the one. Let's see. Section 1 of it is the removal of president from office, or in the case of his death or resignation, the vice president shall become president. Whenever there is a vacancy in the office of the vice president, the president shall nominate a vice president who shall take office upon confirmation by a majority vote of both House and Congress. Section 3, whenever the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmit to them a written declaration to the contrary, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the Vice President. Oh, and then Section 4 is like 3 paragraphs. Woo!
This is a long amendment.
Yeah, there's a long section here.
The first 10 were real quick and easy to read. And
whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office as acting president. That is the section that you are referring to.
Yep. So yeah, and then it's been entertaining watching Biden assemble his cabinet or whatever. So we're gonna get more John Kerry. So there's that. There's a chasm.
Yeah,
a chasm.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on with all of that. The Sidney Powell stuff, the other.
Yeah, supposedly she said by Friday or something like that, but
yeah,
I'll admit I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, nobody's holding their breath at this point. I thought it was funny, though, how many people freaked out when they came out and were like, she's not a part of the Trump team. Yeah, you could have figured that out with just a little bit of research.
Yeah, right.
Like, literally any. As long as you don't just take Trump's tweets as gospel.
Yeah, Trump
tweets stuff to screw with you. That's what he does.
Yeah,
don't read his tweets with anything more than a grain of salt. Like,
even if you take it literally, like she is on his team, but she's not.
She's on his side.
Team. Yeah.
She was swapping information with his team. She was helping, but she wasn't ever paid by him or his team.
Right.
Never on retainer, so
yeah,
not a part of the team is by definition what she was.
Yeah, exactly.
She was working with his team, which is what he tweeted, but she was not on his team.
Yes,
that makes sense.
And
just break it down into little pieces for you there.
Right. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's doing a lot of this as a vendetta for what they did to her with Michael Flynn.
Yeah.
Because she knew Flynn was innocent and she knew he was getting handled.
Railroaded?
From the inside. Mm-hmm. But she could not find the documents to prove it, but she knew that was going on. She just couldn't find the proof of it. And then 3 years later, the proof comes out via emails and all this stuff that some of which we shared on our podcast.
She didn't have access to during the trial because it was classified.
Yeah.
Above her pay grade.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's got a little bit of a vendetta, I think.
Just a little
to rub against people.
Little one.
And there's a thing, was a third of Democrats believe that the election was rigged.
Yeah. Yeah. And from a thing I saw today, it's like something like almost 80%. It's like 76 or 77% of Republicans do. So
there's a Rasmussen poll. Let's see. How likely is it that Democrats stole votes or destroyed pro-Trump ballots in several states to ensure that Biden would win? Democrats 30 to 20% say very likely.
30 to 20?
Yeah. So they got that. I don't know why they have the high end first.
What happened to the other like 50%? Where did they go?
Right. But yeah, 20 to 30% say very likely. 29 to 39% of unaffiliated say very likely. 61 to 75% of Republicans say very likely. And all voters, 36 to 47% say very likely that Democrats stole votes. Half the country thinks this was a rigged election. And that's including 30% of Democrats, up to 30% of Democrats.
Let's be real. There's a lot of weird crap this election.
There's just
like
been a few glitches.
Record-breaking weird crap. Like
just a couple of glitches, that's all.
Like one county in Georgia broke the record for the entire country in a previous election. So how do you not look at anything that's going on and or how do you look at anything that's going on and not see something weird? Like willful ignorance or...
Right.
Because I honestly, I can't believe that there's... Well, no, I work construction. I can believe that there are people that stupid.
I've worked in the maintenance area for a school district, so... Take private construction and then throw government entity.
I've worked for cities as a construction worker, so
right.
Yeah.
So we're right there. We're both right there.
I love, dude, like seriously, some of the best stories though. Like I literally coned this area off, right? This one time. Cones everywhere. And ribbon between the cones, big caution tape. There's no way to get to where I am standing in the parking lot without crossing a cone barrier.
Right.
Or driving over something that you can't drive over.
Or shouldn't drive
over. I had a lady pull in and she's got the caution tape stretched across her windshield, the cones tipping over as she drives in, and I'm standing there looking at her, and she pulls in just far enough to where she's like almost even with me, so she rolls down her window and we're like eye to eye.
Uh-huh.
Because I lean over, I'm like, can I help you? Yeah. Is this parking lot closed?
Just opened. You're the first one.
I just throw out cones and caution tape for fun on the weekend. Every now and then. Just for shits and giggles.
Just because I thought it'd be fun.
I just thought it'd be fun. Mm-hmm. This is a church. It's not open till tomorrow anyway. Why are you trying to park here?
So I have a similar one. Could very well be the same lady because
it very well could. Very well could.
Was this in the Draper area?
Actually, I think it was Sandy. I want to say it was Sandy.
Close enough. So I used to work custodial In the summer, the custodians strip and wax the floors. So basically,
How do
we
the floors
polish-
feel about that?
A little violated, but
That seems really personal. Do they have a license for that?
basically we polish the turd before the kids come in the fall and make it look good for a couple weeks before.
I didn't
everyone's
realize that floors got that hairy that they needed waxing.
there. Yeah. But anyways, we just barely put the last coat of wax on the floor, and we're sitting there talking for a little bit. Then we hear clop, 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 walking through the hall. Like,
It was a small pony.
it would have been better if it was a small pony.
Somebody brought their ass to school.
But we go and follow the fresh high heel footprints in the final coat of wax to a teacher's classroom. This is August. Teachers are long gone from the middle school. August. In fact, they're supposed to turn in their keys before this date comes, and they pick them up at the end of August or beginning of September. So we go into this classroom, poke our heads in. Oh, and mind you, before this, there's carpeted areas right at the doorways, and then it's the tile floors. So we put up chairs and signs, "Do not walk, wet wax," whatever,
Wet wax.
and put it up.
Say
and
that
put
5
it on
times
the
fast.
wet wax, wet wax, wet wax.
That was only 3.
It was, because then it was gonna go south. And then also on the doors, the doors on the outside, we put signs up: "Do not enter, wet wax." She somehow didn't see all of that barricading and made it to her classroom, which is down the hall, around the corner, down that hall, and into her room. We poke our heads in the room. Is there a reason why you're here? "Oh, I just needed to pick something up." "Is there a reason why you walked across the wet wax?" "Oh, I thought you just didn't want kids to walk through here." Not
You are
worried about
officially handicapped.
exactly. So for the entire school year, there was footprints going from where she walked in all the way to her classroom. And the principal, when he saw it, when he came in, and we tried to burnish it out and all that stuff, comes in and he sees, "What's with these footprints? Follow them."
Follow them.
Could be the same lady.
I'm in the top 99 percentile of intelligent people on this planet.
And she's teaching our children. Yeah.
Man. Well, there's so many other things that we could cover. Everything happens every day. Everything. All of it.
Yeah, we
It's-
could cover.
Just
We could
gesture to
cover-
all of it.
We could cover the court cases that are just dropping. My favorite one, though, is it was a Pennsylvania case with the Trump team. And the judge basically, as soon as the papers hit his desk, dismissed the case. Essentially is what happened. That's how quick he dismissed it. And the Trump campaign came out while everyone's saying, they failed in Pennsylvania. The Trump campaign came out and said, "We'd like to thank the Obama-appointed judge for dismissing this case so quickly so we can take it to a higher court." Without any kind of dilly-dally going on.
Yeah.
It's like, hi. You mean we could have sat on that? Could have sat on it.
My favorite story this week, though, was Cuomo calling the sheriff a dictator for not enforcing his authoritarian laws. Dictates.
So the
You're a
sheriff
dictator for not following my dictates.
So imagine.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
No, Cuomo keeps calling them laws.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
No, I meant the dictator word. He keeps using
Oh,
that
yes,
word.
the dictator.
And
Yes,
a
true.
lot of these people keep using that word. I saw a post today where somebody was like, we almost had a dictator, and you all are trying to vote him in, and you all are supporting him as he fights to stay in. Like, you
keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Because a dictator is somebody who seizes control. I believe that the idea of, oh, hey, there's a crisis, you know who should be in charge of this? The individual states that know best what their problems are. They should be in charge of this.
You should.
That is like the opposite of, you know who should be in charge of this? I should be in charge of this.
Yeah, you should look at the 30 some odd governors that have seized control for themselves.
You want to talk about a dictator. Whitmer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
We've been Gretched again.
We've been Gretched again.
Release the Gretchen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tentacles and everything.
That and the other one they keep misusing is Trump is literally a fascist.
Fascist.
He's a fascist.
Fascist.
He's
We're all
the
fascists.
Well, he's the most unsocialist person I've ever met. No, he's a fascist. It's different. No. Fascist is is a specific application of socialism.
It's a governing body of socialism. Socialism is an economy.
He's a Nazi. No, that would be Bernie Sanders.
Would be Bernie. Bernie is a Nazi. Well, he's technically kind of not a Nazi because Nazi stood for National Socialist, and he's more of a global socialist, so he's a glitzy.
Yeah, glitzy.
He's a glitzy. Sparkles in the sunlight like a vampire.
Yeah, glitzy.
He's a bloodsucker too, so it fits.
I like it.
You are officially handicapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
It's, Bernie's my favorite glitzy.
If you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one, he's my favorite glitzy.
At least
Mao
he's an
Zedong
honest
might be my second favorite glitzy.
Yeah, Bernie's at least an honest
Mostly
glitzy.
because his name has dong in it.
Which translates to dictator.
He's a dick. Tater. Let me finish my sentence.
Yes.
Welcome to America.
Yay! It's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm. It's only gonna get worse. We have to laugh now while we still can.
While we're still allowed.
Before we get the Canada treatment and are arrested and tried for making jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we got.
That's
all we got.
That's what we got. Yeah.
That's it. You're on an Olin Rogers kick, are you?
I don't know, I'm in a weird mood tonight. It's fun.
Fair.
Yeah.
Check us out on the things.
On the interwebs and just
interwebs.
Whatever you do, don't forget.
They might be trying to screw me.
Well, of course they're trying to screw you.
Of course, they are trying to screw you.
And again, check out our Patreon to find out about the Battle of Athens, because you would be amazingly surprised how much that ties into everything going on right now.
Speaking of our Patreon, what we need to do over the next week while you have time off
yes, let's make that look decent.
Well, not just that, but make the next episode of the Patreon so that we can maybe release it
I have
December
been reading
1st.
the Communist Manifesto for you.
Ooh.
Because
I've read part of the Communist Manifesto.
It sucks.
It does suck.
It is the worst writing I have ever.
So bad.
It's
so bad. I have a PDF version of the Communist Manifesto.
yes.
I've made it like 3/4 of the way through twice. I understand maybe a tenth of it.
I can make it barely through the prologue of Engel's little preface to it, and it's terrifying
Engels.
just there.
Oof. Yeah,
we're doing all this for you.
Horrifying and heartbreaking and more than a little sickening.
For you 5 or 6 people that are constantly listening to us, we do it for you.
This is for you, say.
Say, yeah, say.
Play it again, Sam. I think that's a good time to put out the outro, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if you were going to play something.
That's a sign out. That's a sign out. Play it again, Sam. And intro.
Bleh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See? Yeah. Boom.